Hi, and welcome to Tea Time with Amie and Bev. What? What?
Good morning.
What? What? What's happening?
Living life, right? Every moment.
Every
Listening
moment.
to and wishing more. That's right. What about for you? How's everything going?
I have taken on the title of caretaker. So this is supposed to go on anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks, and this go around. This would be week one. I have already done it for a week. Had a week off, and now technically started last Friday. And I have to say that this is a very, it's a very good position for me to be in right now, in the sense of still learning. It's like a continuous process with me to learn about myself. And the process of, well, I'm experiencing this for a reason. There's a reason why I'm involved, or there's a reason why I'm witnessing this, or there's a reason why I'm learning about this right now. Because a lot of times what we forget is that when we're in something, we are not quite sure why we're in it. Right now, I know why I'm in it, and it's okay. But a lot of times we have life experiences, we're not quite sure why we're experiencing that particular situation right now, especially when it's the strain and the struggle and the arguments and the not enoughness and lack of whatever, right? And so we forget that there's growth to be had through that, because it's going to benefit you in your own growing as you go. But it's going to be information that to put in your toolbox for later, because at some point later, we don't know when that later is. At some point later, you're going to go, oh my gosh, I remember going through that, and I remember what I learned, and this is, knowing that, like, the information I'm gaining right now by being a caretaker for this particular person is beneficial, not only for me personally in growing and recognizing, um, really practicing compassion right now. I mean, the hardest thing, I have to tell you this, side note, the hardest way to practice compassion is for those towards those people who you feel like you need to forgive. And in the position I'm in right now with the caretaking, is seeing through different eyes as I'm looking at this person through compassion. Not somebody I need to forgive for anything, but just having the compassion for this person of where they're at, and instead of old Amie, who would be frustrated and no self-confidence and being able to do this for one, prompting somebody about their medication, I would be freaking out because I'm like, oh my God, I got to take responsibility for this. Are you kidding me? So acknowledging, my personal growth from where I was and who I was and how I behaved, and where I am now in this situation. And it's like, there's so much ease and understanding and compassion and love and kindness, and it really feels good. First of all, when we're in service to somebody else, is usually feels really good. um, but knowing the difference of who I used to be and who I am today, knowing how I would have responded to this particular situation then as to how I am now, it's a great comparison for me, just for my internal inventory, basically. um and then knowing that I'm going through this for a reason, and there is stuff to be learned about other things that's going to benefit me later. I have no doubt about that. So it's just really taking those notes that are going to be future event, where I'm going to have to pull up this information to remember it and use it.
Nice.
So
Nice. And I feel like maybe we don't have to remember all the details, but it's like the stuff kind of flows for us. It's like it's just you've had the experience and now it's in your tool belt. And then it's like it's gonna show up like, oh, I might need that weapon right there, but it's not really a weapon, it's just a tool to handle this situation right now. I'm just being dramatic.
Yeah,
Throwing
yeah.
my glasses,
Yeah,
throwing my glasses around.
glasses. Goodness, she's getting into it today. This is great.
That's
We love
right.
it. We love this
It's
more
good.
animated type. Ah,
But you know, everything that you're talking about, because I kind of I put up something today. I'm talking about energy because it's like I don't think people realize how connected we are, and I don't think people realize how. So you going into all this with this energy of being more open and flowing, you're learning so much about yourself, and it helps the other person to learn about themselves, and it's also going off to a million other people that this is affecting.
right, right. Can I interrupt you just for a second?
Yes.
Because something that came to mind as you said energy. Um, Intuition. This by is no doubt a practice of me to really hone. I mean, I'm intuitive anyway, but this no doubt is no doubt making me be so fine-tuned in my intuition, because I will be sitting here. So I'm sitting at my desk right now, and so I'll be sitting here and I'll be working away and I'll be like, oh, I need to go check on. And I go, and not even in the door 30 seconds and the phone will ring, and it's a conversation I need to be aware of with this person I'm taking care of. That's happened at least 3 times.
Nice. But it is practice, the practice of the intuition. All of it is. Every single day. Like nobody's exempt from this. You can either choose to pay attention to it or not.
Yep.
It feels a lot nicer when you pay attention to it because the guidance, because you're being guided the whole time. That's what our intuition is.
And it goes along with I liked it's interesting. So the chicken or the egg, right? We always, what came first? Well, thinking like there's a person over here, let's say a medical staff needs to make this phone call to this person I'm watching and caretaking for. So this person over here, I don't even know who it is. I don't know where they are, right? I don't have that like a personal connection to them. But in that moment, they look at my person's name and is making that decision to make that call. That to me is like saying, okay, Amy, here's your connection, right? You need to get up and go check on your person. So I get up and go check on my person. I get in the door, not there 30 seconds or more, and that phone rings, and that's the medical staff calling. So that energy, the connection, it doesn't have to be with somebody you even know.
Nope.
We're all connected energetically.
Yes. 100%.
Always.
There is no separation. It doesn't matter, and it doesn't matter how many miles you are away from somebody. It doesn't matter whether they're in the physical or they're in the non-physical, and none of it matters. We're all connected. And when we're having a battle outward, if there seems to be separation outward, how are you separate from yourself inside? What are you battling yourself? What are you battling against in yourself? You know, everything it's relative. It's because it's mirroring. It's letting you know, hey, this is, if it's in your face, it's letting you know this is something that, hey, if you want to move past where you're at right now, look at this right now. Take a look at it. And it's your intuition. I've been playing with it like since before the snow. But I've been noticing, so you bring that up, but I've been noticing I've been playing with it more and more. And it's like I'll think something like, okay, like when we're on this conversation and you're talking, I'm like, oh, before we start talking, I'm like, okay, creator, what information would you like to flow through me? What do you want to talk about? And I hear energy, you know, and then I go on to something else, and then I'm like, you know, then you're talking, and then there's like a pause or something like that. I'm like, what are we going to talk about? Energy. It's like, but it's so subtle. It's just, you almost feel like it's you telling yourself, but it's not. It just pops in at the right time, and playing with it. My gosh, even knowing like if you're going to leave your driveway and all of a sudden you feel like I'm going to go that way. And then you're like rationalizing it. You go into your mind, you're like, no, I don't go that way. That's not the way I normally go. And then you go against what your intuition you may not be saving yourself or protecting yourself from anything, but maybe it's just a practice of playing with your intuition. It's just guidance. We get it all the time. And that's why I'm trying to help people understand, because I'm trying to understand it, because I am understanding it more. It is making more sense. You talked about, and I don't know how much you want to go into detail with this, but we talked about our prayer, and we talk about energy. So everything's energy. Everything that we say is energy, whether we think it, we say it out loud, it's energy. Some actions make it stronger than others and make it come about faster. But it's valuable to know that when we're putting good thoughts to someone, whether it's someone you might perceive as an enemy or someone that you're against, when you pull yourself back from that energy of hate and anger and judgment, and you want to get even or prove your point or justify, which is pretty much the same. When you get past all that stuff and you pull back and you just send prayers, love and light to the person, surround them. You have had, and a lot of people have, but it's been an experience of yours recently of your prayers and your thoughts and how they manifest. And you have received confirmation on that, which I think we all do in every day, but I feel like this is a good topic to talk about, to go into, because we have such a huge influence that we don't know, in a positive manner. I mean, it can in a negative manner too. If someone's in a bad mood and you're negative, you can get them deeper in that bad mood and take yourself with it. Or we can do something opposite of that. And that's seeing things from a bigger picture and pulling back and calling on this universal help that we have. So now it's your turn.
Oh, it's my turn. So you want me to share a story?
I want you to share a story because it's so relevant and it's so true and it happens all the time, and it's something that you experience. It's real life, your energy. When you're explaining it, people are going to feel it. They're going to understand. When you're ready to understand, it's going to make sense. And I can tell you, it makes sense to me.
Yes. Okay. So I'm going to tell a story, and then just let me know if this is the one you're talking about or not. Here's what I'm going to do. There are three, besides myself, there's three people involved. I'm going to use the names to protect the innocent. So we're going to say that the mom's name is Betty, the dad's name is Joe, and the daughter's name is Lori. Those are the three names I'm going to use. Betty is the one I'm caretaking for. And Joe is the dad. He's in the hospital in another city. And Lori, the daughter, has been in the same, she lives in another city as well, out of state. And she she flew to the city that Joe is in. But because of COVID and the dynamics of all that, she cannot go into the hospital, but she's been talking to him every day. So this is her dad, her biological dad. So Joe ended up being med flighted out of our city to another city and in this hospital that is specialty of cancer. And so not knowing his diagnosis or anything in the beginning. And really, we know like the reasons why they med flight people out of our city is because they don't have the means here and it's a critical situation. So we didn't even know if he was going to survive the night that he was flown out. So that was 2 weeks ago, and just give you the report. He's doing well and doing really well right now. So so Joe is not a spiritual guy. He's not a religious guy. We do not, I've known him for over 20 years. We've never had a conversation about spirituality or God or anything like that. And I respect who he is and the conversation he has, and he is an elderly person. And so anyway, he tells his daughter, is this the story you're talking about, where he tells his daughter he had a 45-minute conversation with God? Now, this was about probably about a week into him being gone. And in that meantime, not knowing, you know, what his status is, or that no diagnosis, they're still running tests and all this stuff going on. Every day I was praying. I was asking the angels, particularly Archangel Raphael, to surround Joe with the healing light. I said, you know, whether his healing is a meaning of him staying in physical form or transitioning into spirit, that is his choice. That is his spirit's journey. And that's not for me to beg and plead to keep him here. It is um, to pray for his highest and greatest good, whatever that is. Because I don't know everybody's journey here. I don't even know my journey. I just know I'm here and I'm on my path. So praying for Joe, and I've woken up at like very early hours of the morning. I stop looking at the clock because I'm like, it makes me feel even more tired if I go back to sleep and then wake up later. I just feel like, oh my gosh, you know, I was interrupted in my sleep. I've only had 2 more hours of sleep, you know, so you just, my mind, it's just a mind thing. But I know it has been in very early hours of the morning, and I will wake up, and then while I'm awake, I'll just start praying for him again. So it's been a continuous prayer in the morning, during the day, my waking hours, when I'm laying there going to bed. I run his name through my mind and ask for the prayers. And in those hours that I wake up, in the wee hours of the morning, I pray for him and go back to sleep. So I had been doing this. And the other thing I prayed for was that his medical staff was just like the best medical staff ever. They are knowledgeable. They're the best team he could have. They're compassionate and kind and attentive to his needs, and he's really being taken care of. So these are actually my prayers. Like, these are actually my words that I've been using. And then so Archangel Raphael, for the green light, Archangel Raphael is for healing. And Archangel Michael. So I've asked Archangel Michael to be with him for his courage and his strength, and to really be present and help him get through this, whatever avenue he chooses. So these have been my prayers. And his daughter Lori, she's been calling me almost through that time on a daily basis since he's been since he's received his diagnosis, and he's gone through some treatments and he's doing better. She hasn't been calling me on a daily basis like she was. It's like things have kind of, you know, calmed down. But he tells her that one night he's laying there, or one day he's laying there in bed, and he's talking to his daughter, okay? And he says, I just had a 45-minute conversation with God. Now that just blew her out of the water, because she's like, these are not things my dad says. These is not in his nature to say anything like that. But he had a 45-minute conversation with God. And so they talked about that. And he said, after I had that 45-minute conversation, I turned on my iPad, and right there is immediately on his Facebook page or in his feed, immediately the first thing he sees is a sermon by a church that is in our local area. And he says, this pastor's talking about, he has this fishbowl, and in this fishbowl there are names on pieces of paper. And on those pieces of paper, he says, these names are in this fishbowl. And these are people that, you know, are desiring a better connection with God or Jesus, or a better life, or whatever he was saying. And this is what he says, you probably know somebody's name that's in this fishbowl. And Joe tells his daughter, I knew my name was in that fishbowl, and I think Amie has something to do with this. And in each conversation that comes up about any kind of weird, quote unquote, weird or woo-woo stuff that they would find it as titled as that, he says, I think Amie has something to do with this. He's seen me standing by his bed in wee hours of the morning. I have not visited him. I haven't gone to the city he's in. I've just been at my house. And but he has told his daughter, I've seen Amie standing at my bed. I've seen her, she's been with me. And then another conversation he had with his daughter was he said he was fully awake. He was heading to the bathroom, and this white light filled his room, and there was a boom, and it shook everything in his room. And so I'm going to assume he went to the bathroom, but at some point he called the nurse. He's like, what's going on? What's going on? Asking them what's happening. And they don't have a clue what he's talking about. He calls his daughter. He's like, oh, telling her this white light was in my room and there was a boom and it shook everything. And have you heard anything on the news of what's going on or anything happening? And she's like, she did really good. She told him, she said, Dad, I think that was your guardian angel just letting you know they're with you. So she's having these conversations with him. She's keeping it together with him. She's keeping him calm, trying to bring about some different kind of thinking. And then she calls me immediately after their conversation, and she says, my dad's talking about white light and things shaking in his room. What does this mean? And so I proceeded to tell her about angels and all that. And she was like, oh, okay, well, that's what I was telling him. And that's everything I've Googled about it says that. I said, okay. And then the spiritual part of seeing us by his bedside. So he's seen me, he's seen his daughter, he's seen his wife, he's seen his dog, he's seen his mom. Like he's seen, his mom is deceased, but we're all here, and he has seen all of us there. So we have these, this is all energetic, like the angels' energy letting us know they're here. The way they get our attention sometimes is a big white light boom shaking shit, because this is going to get our attention, because then we're going to be like, all right, is the world ending, or is there an earthquake, or am I seeing things, right? We start questioning our mental faculties. And then the seeing us there, we can travel. Our spirit, when we're asleep, we can travel. We can go visit people. We're all connected. So if you want to continue talking about that for a minute, I have a phone call I got to take. I apologize for this, but it's kind of urgent. So I'm just going to mute myself if you want to continue with that.
Okay. So as she's talking about all this stuff, just recognizing, again, we go back to energy. We are all connected, each and every single one of us, all of us. Our prayers do matter. And she even said that he's even feeling better. But it's not just the effect, and she's having an experience and she's learning about herself and growing more. But it's not just about her experience, it's how she's affected each person. It's being a guide, because at some point or another, we're all guides. And it's being a guide for someone when they're going through something that's new, and giving them different guidance, giving them different ideas. Doesn't mean that we're 100% correct and we're right all the time. No, but we're here to give you information, to plant seeds. And it's up to you how you would like to perceive that. And you got to pay attention to how does it feel with inside your body? How does that resonate with you, or does it not resonate with you? And when I say resonate, that's really just checking in with yourself and asking yourself how it feels. And that's just as simple as, does it feel good, or does it feel off? Does it feel not so good? So it's really just paying attention to how we're feeling, but recognizing our thoughts make a difference. Our prayers make a difference. They are affected. There was an article that I had read a long time ago, and I don't remember if it was chicken noodle or chicken soup for the soul, chicken noodle, chicken noodle soup for the soul. Not really, but I don't hear you. Are you muted still?
Here we are.
There we are.
Gotta hit the right
Anyway,
button.
huh?
Gotta hit the right button.
Oh, yeah. And in that story, it's talking about a person that's, sitting back in the traffic and like, instead of being pissed off, like, oh God, I'm stuck here, they can see the lights up ahead, that there's sirens, there's ambulance, and they're, it's probably not a great situation. So they started praying for this person. Well, this person gets airlifted out of there, and the person can, I think the way it was described, it's been a long time ago, but like they could actually see this person's face and everything that they were saying prayers. Like, if you're them saying the prayers, I don't know if they could identify, but it's like they recognized immediately that it was happening. And I think in these moments we especially like you're facing cancer, you're facing a possible terminal illness, it kind of makes you slow down a little bit more. And really that's the whole process is just to slow down more, because we are all connected. And when we slow down more, we start recognizing that it doesn't matter if you're religious, it doesn't matter if you're spiritual, none of that matters. It doesn't matter. It just starts coming into your experience. It's just showing us how much we are all connected. And it's like when, if you were ever mean to somebody, God, that feels like shit. For yourself, it feels bad. So it's like it just goes to show you how much we are connected. And it's just recognizing that. I keep thinking that, empaths and all that stuff, but I think it's so much bigger than an empath. I think just it's not an empath. It's just some people have been tuned into it for a lot longer. Some people grew up being in tune to other people's energies forever. And that was just the experience. But we can all do that without having to go through trauma or experiences, because we are all connected. And value what you're saying. Think about like just the crap you tell yourself. That's like a prayer. That's a statement. That's an I am. I am with a statement behind it is like you're making a wish. It's matter of fact, I just created this. This is it. Think about what you're saying. Think about how much we are connected. Think about separating, and I have to do this. I say have to, but it's like I've been practicing it, but there's been someone in my life that's, and I mentioned that I feel like I would say an ugliness towards, sometimes it feels that way. And other times I can get myself, I can be ahead of it and start thinking positive stuff. And the thoughts become fewer and farther between, but it's just really being in that space, being in your heart center, like feeling that love from yourself. And I can't always do it for that person at that time, but there's other experiences. I can say, I can focus on my grandchildren. I can focus on the animals when they're playing. I can focus on the flowers. And you just, basically you're just storing and building up all this energy in your heart so that it's so overflowing that when you go to think about that person, there is not even a possible way that you could think anything bad besides sending love and healing to that person. Because like you said last time, and we've talked about before, hurt people hurt.
Hurt people hurt people.
Yeah. But we're all connected. We're all connected.
And I love that story you tell, because we talked about it from Chicken Soup for the Soul, is that person that was in the accident, I mean, yeah, they're pretty much kind of out of it because they're in critical condition, but they could see the person who was like, I think it was like 3 or 4 car lengths away or something, was praying for them, that they saw the person who was in a critical condition, saw the person, like you're saying, saw their face, but the other thing they saw was a license plate.
Yes, that's what it was.
So the person in critical condition saw the license plate of the person who was praying for them. When this person who was in critical condition recovered, they had the license plate they looked up the license plate number, however you do that, and found that person and went and visited them and thanked them for praying for them and let them know that they were okay. Now, would you be blown away if you were just, you're just praying for somebody, you don't even know who it is, you're just praying for this person's well-being, or, asking God and the angels to be with them, and then have somebody show up on your doorstep and say, I know you were praying. I was in an accident. You were a few car lengths behind me. You were praying for me. I just wanted to come say thank you and let you know I'm doing well. I'd be like, what is happening? This is so cool. I think that's so amazing that we can impact people, and you have no idea how much you're impacting someone, whether it's an amazing experience or whether it's the opposite of that, of just being a complete jerk, right? All of it is energy. And so you are affecting not only yourself and your physical being. This goes deep, physical being. This affects your body. That that is also affecting your environment, your plants, your animals, your home, your work environment, the people you work with. Like, you're contributing to whatever energy you're bringing in and emanating. So yeah, and then you recognize, like you're saying, like, being a jerk doesn't feel good.
It
I don't
doesn't.
care. I doesn't care. I don't care how much I want to get into my ego now. I don't care how much I want to tell somebody they're an asshole or jerk or whatever. It's like, it's not in me like it used to be. Boy, before I just fly off the handle and I'd be all over it. But now I'm just like, you know what? They got their own issues they're dealing with. I don't have to be a part of that. I don't have to give my attention to it. I don't have to even speak to them. I don't have to be in their presence. I have a choice. I can leave. I have a choice. I can end the conversation and just go in a different direction, because it doesn't feel good. And if it doesn't feel good, we say all the time, don't do it. Do something else.
That's right.
And so the energy, just knowing and having that conversation was amazing. That, I'm having these, prayers in the middle of the mornings, super early. Most the time that he would talk about was around 3 a.m., which wouldn't surprise me at all, because 3 is a significant number in my life. But having the confirmation. So there was so much going on between the dad, the daughter, and myself in these conversations. I was getting multiple confirmations that this is real, this is true, this is happening. That he's seeing me, that these things are the things I'm praying for, because about the staff. So I was telling his daughter, I forgot to mention that piece. I was telling his daughter, I said, well, I've been praying for the angels to be with him. I've been praying, for God to be with him. I've been praying for his ancestors and deceased loved. Like, I just name everybody. I'm just telling her everybody. Like, I'm praying, but I've also been praying that he has the best medical staff, and they're attentive to his needs, and they're compassionate and kind and loving and caring. And he's just really well cared for, and he knows he's in good. Like, I'm telling her these words, and she goes, oh my God, I just talked to my dad, and he said he has the best team of people with him, that they are so compassionate and kind. They sit there and they eat popsicles with him, and they talk about their life. And she didn't know I'd been saying these prayers until I told her. And I was telling her these exact words. She is getting these exact words from her dad in a different conversation before I told her that. I haven't been talking to her dad in these days, because I know he's trying to recover. I know he's his mental faculties aren't all there. He's tired. He needs his energy to recover. Like, he's got enough going on. I don't need to be a part of a physical conversation. I can be part of a spiritual conversation. And when I told her that these were the things I was praying for, it floored her that she got the same exact description from her dad, and her dad and I had not even been talking. So those types of things, those confirmations, just lands me in my truth of what I teach so much more, because I have had actual confirmations. Now, it's also grown him in his spirituality. Whether he knows it or not, or remembers or not, doesn't matter. He in some way is affected by what has happened on a spiritual level. She has gotten these conversations with her dad, because these are conversations her dad would never have, ever. He's a really nice person, and you can talk to him, and he's not, but he's egotistical. He's got his, his ways and his way of thinking, and this is right. So he's got that piece. So for him to have these kind of spiritual conversations, to say, I've been seeing, you standing by my bed, I've been seeing Amie by my bed, I've been seeing my dog on my bed, right? These aren't conversations he has. So for her to be in the middle between the two of us, and she's getting his stories and then calling me for guidance. Do you know how much growth she has had in these 2 weeks that she's been in this? And that is going to affect her home life. It's going to affect, her husband's been with her, so it's affecting their marriage in a positive way. It's going to affect her relationship. She has 2 children. It's going to all her relationships, she's going to view them differently now, because she's getting information that she normally would not have gotten in any other way. And it takes something big for a lot of people. I'm just thankful it didn't take this for me, honestly. But it usually takes something big to get somebody's attention. Critical, like a major accident, a major illness, losing the loss, where you think you lost someone. So the loss through somebody transitioning, right?
Yeah.
It usually takes a huge, big event to get somebody's attention.
It's true. 100%. I will say 100%, because I have grown so much from the time that Jim passed. I was growing before, but from the time that he passed to now, it's like, holy crap. Like, it's a fast forward, but it's a blessing. It's like, it's finding the blessings in all those things. And it's recognizing how powerful we are. And for me, it's like a wow, but it's like, it enforces the strength of my prayer. It enforces the strength of my words. How am I gonna move forward from this moment on? Because I have a choice. I can fall into super asshole or not. And I choose to not use my energy that way. I choose to use my energy in a way that's beneficial for myself and for everyone else. Because as we're doing these things, like you said, it was how much you were gaining from it, but it was like, it's so many other people have gained from it, how it's going to trickle down to so many other people. It's an awesome thing. It's amazing. No matter what we're going through, it's like, there's always a way to look at it in a different way. There always is. There's always something positive that can come from it. And the growth, the spirituality, because this person could be in the hospital, woe is me, being a victim. I'm going through all this stuff and I have to have these treatments, and I don't even know if I want to be, grouchy and, all that whole victim thing. But no, it just sounds more open. It sounds more like I'm just going with the flow. It's like, I can't do anything about it. This is where I'm at right now. So it just going with it, and look what all the amazingness that's come from it. It's so amazing. When we don't try to control things and have an expectation of how it should look like or how it should be, life just transforms from right in front of us. And even though these situations may seem hard, but there's always something good, and sometimes you just can't see it right that moment, but it'll happen. Because your whole conversation, you've told people how you've instructed people, you've given so much information out just in this conversation, the prayers that you use, who you're calling on, because people sometimes want to go by the book, that I don't know how to do this, and so it's like you're giving so much information forward on that, recognizing that we're all connected and that we're energy. And it's like what I'm seeing is like us talking to a small child of ourselves. We would never talk to someone enough. If we could see the children in each person, we would never talk to them. Even if it was to match their energy, we would never say the things that we say sometimes when we're defensive or angry or hurt or whatever. Those things would never happen, because we'd be more nurturing, and we would see things differently, embracing the children. But we're all children. We're all learning. We just have developed bodies. That's all. Things have kind of changed a bit since we were in diapers.
Body kind of evolved.
It kind of did.
Sometimes in ways we don't like, but that's okay.
But we're still all children. Yeah, we're still children. We're still all these beautiful children on the inside.
Yeah,
Maybe
that's
it's
where,
just like
that's where, you know, I really talk about compassion, is to recognize that people are operating on a little child that's inside, the little child, the little girl, the little boy that's from 0 to 7 years old, where they develop their habits and patterns and thought processes, beliefs based on the adults around them. That little person inside is what is running the show. And if that little person inside does not feel safe because of what they experienced in childhood, then you're not going to feel safe as an adult, because you're still operating from those experiences when you were little. So and I just want to hit up on, like, I am excited about, you know, I'm excited about the confirmations I'm getting about the spirituality, about the connection, about the power of prayer, about the power of the angels and all that, because there's been times, and I shared this at the end of last year in one of our episodes, like, there's been times where I sit back and I go, is what I'm doing really benefiting anybody? Like, does anybody really give a shit what I have to say? Is anybody really getting anything from, you know, my teachings or my coaching or the free stuff I put out in social media? Like, is it really affecting anybody, and does it really matter? And you know, I start to get into those types of questions when my energy is depleted and I'm in a low vibrational state. And that is old habits and old behaviors. That's an old pattern that I had before, because I was there for so long. And what it is my ego saying, I need the recognition. I need people to tell me I'm doing good things. I need people, right? That's all ego based. And the fact is, if I
Yeah.
just reach one person, it's okay. Just one person, because that one person could do amazing things. But under the circumstances, you know, I'm not excited about the circumstances that it happened in, but I know it takes things like that for bigger things to happen. So having this just instills, because of these confirmations I've had through this process with this dad and daughter, that it is grounding me even more. It wasn't when I was getting the confirmations from her, you can tell the difference between excitement, like true genuine excitement, and my ego needs to be fed. There's two different sensations there. The ego is like, see, I was right. See, this is what's happening. See, I told you so, right? It was the excitement of knowing, like, that confirmation, like, yeah, this is real shit, man, and you need to listen to it more. So I was like, this is grounding me more in my truth and in my teachings. It's empowering me. It's I, I want to use the word powerful, like, it's making me more powerful in my words and conviction of what I'm teaching than questioning it. Right? So
Yeah.
if I'm questioning what I'm teaching, then my self-confidence is not at peak. If I'm in my conviction of what I'm teaching because I've had the experience, this is how teachers operate. They have to be in their power of confidence to teach what they teach with conviction, right? It's like, this is truth. Well, I've had that now. So now there's no doubting what I teach. I'm like, you either take it or you don't. You trust it or you don't. It feels good to you or it don't. That's for you to discern. I know by my experiences, this is truth. And it feels good to me.
Yes.
So you'll be expecting more of that.
That's right. That's right. That's awesome. Because that's how it should be, honestly. And I think, like, so when you talked about the ego coming into play when you're putting out all this information, that when we're not operating from ego, we're just doing it because we like it. Period. We don't care if I mean, we care if we reach somebody, but that's not why we're putting it out. We're putting it out there because we've been having these conversations forever. I mean, it feels like it's probably been like, I don't know, 5, 8 years, somewhere in that time frame. It's been going on for a long time. And having these conversations and how much we could share with other people, because it's just insight. It's just, like I said, I've read certain books and stuff, and when you read things, you kind of, it's almost like some things give you permission to be a certain way or to think outside the box or to do something else, to cry, to be, it's all right to be mad, but you don't have to blow it all up at the whole world. There's a space to go into, going into your room and screaming, out loud, not at anybody, not directing at anybody, but to release it from yourself. Being okay with crying because it's all releases. It's letting that energy outside of the body because we are energetic beings. And it's not meant for us to take those emotions and stuff them in a bottle and hide them within ourselves. It's not. And that's something today I'm thinking it's like we all think that we're hiding. We got all these walls up and we think we're blocking, but the truth is we're all connected. And you can keep telling yourself that you're safe and you're behind this wall and you're protected and everything else, but everybody else feels you. Why not just be vulnerable anyways? Why not just allow that energy to flow out? Just be you and quit putting up all the the blocks that you think that you're protecting yourself, the blocks to keep people out or keep everyone at a safe distance because there is no safe distance. We're all in each other's energy. I feel it anyways. It doesn't matter what you're saying. I feel it anyways. So why hide it? Because you're only hiding yourself from yourself. You can't hide from everybody else. It's exposed. The energy is exposed. It might show up as confusion if you're going through life and you're trying to pretend that you're something else. It comes up as deception. Deception's not always a bad thing. Deception means that something's off. You're holding back something. You're not revealing something. It's not bad, but it's just be aware. There's no reason for us to continue going through this life and hiding ourselves. It makes no sense because we're in a feel world right now. For years, it's been so stifled, but you can't stop the feels anymore. They're out there. You feel everything. You're impacted by everything. It doesn't matter if it's global or if it's in your own house. You're impacted. So to me, it's like, why pretend anymore? Why pretend? Because everybody already knows anyways. It's just like it goes back to that same group that you talked about that communicated telepathically only.
Denise, yeah.
There is we're doing that. This is what's happening to us. And it starts with the feeling. And then you start recognizing that you can hear things or you can see the person in your room when they're praying for you. It's happening right now. All of it's happening with or without you. So you can keep pretending like it's not affecting you and nothing, and then you're not, you're protected and I'm going to control all this, but you can't. And so why not just let it all go? To me, it's like, why not just let it fall away? Just be you. If you want to drive down the road and you have to pull over because you're freaking crying, do it. I'm going to send a prayer to you, period. Because we affect everybody.
I want to talk about you're talking about masks. You didn't say that word, but the masks that we put on and the armor we put around our heart, the stifling of the emotions.
Yes.
An example of this is so in my story, it is being abandoned by my biological father. He left when my mom got pregnant, and so I've never met him. And so having that energy of being abandoned, so that fear of losing someone has been an issue for me for most of my life. And always fearing like people are going to leave me and needing, and it's mainly males because I mean the father figure, never really having that connection with a male who is a father figure. That makes sense. So always
Yes.
seeking that outside of myself. And so having this story of abandonment, not having a relationship with a father, and I know I'm not the only one in the world, and I know other people have worse stories than me, but the idea that anytime I watched a movie, now when you watch a movie, it's just a movie. Doesn't matter if it's a romance movie, doesn't matter if it's a movie about death, it doesn't matter if it's a movie about sailing. It doesn't matter. It's just a movie. What we do is when we're watching those movies, we bring our stories into it and our thoughts. So we stifle these emotions and then they start coming up and into our head and we're like, okay, so any movie I would watch early on in my years, clear into my 30s, any movie I watched that had to do with a father figure in a child, especially a female child, that bond, or any story along those lines, I would get teary-eyed and want to cry because I didn't have that. So it was just a movie, but I brought my story into the movie and brought up those emotions. Well, what it's really doing is saying, let's bring these emotions to the surface that you've pushed down so that you can look at them and release them and cry about it and let it go, right? But what happens when we're watching a movie with other people? We tense up, we control the tears, we blink our eyes like 1,000 times a second, and we push it all back down until the next movie. And then here we go through that same process, but you push it, like you just keep pushing it down, pushing it down, pushing it down. When I finally did my work around that topic and doing some healing, now I can watch a movie and I'm not bringing the story into it. If I am watching a movie and I get teary-eyed about it, I'm like, interesting, I'm showing up this way. What is it I'm getting triggered about? I'm getting triggered about something. Something is still buried inside me that I haven't taken a look at. So now, for the most part, I can watch all kinds of movies, and there's not that overwhelming emotional triggers getting pushed all the time. It's just it's a movie.
Yeah. And it's all right. Those emotional triggers, like you said, they're just, all it is just helping you to move past this stuff. It's just like another splinter worked its way to the surface. Yep. And you can look at it and then see it for what it is and let it and move on.
Because every time let's be clear, a splinter hurts. I don't care where it is. It hurts.
It does.
And you either get it out and the pain stops. It might be a little tender, but the pain stops, right? Or you leave it in and it gets infected and festers and pusses and hurts, and maybe you lose a finger. I don't know. But think about your emotions is that splinter.
Yes.
Push these emotions down for so long, they're festering, they're pussy, they're trying to get the infection out, and they just want to come out somehow, and you keep pushing them down, push them down, push them down. If you just pull the damn splinter out, look at the emotion, cry about it, release it, oh, you feel so much better. So much better. And you can enjoy those movies even more.
That's right. Because you see it from a bigger perspective. You do. You see it from a higher perspective. No matter what, it's just an experience. It's just an experience that someone else wrote about, or you just get to enjoy it. To me, it's more enjoyable.
Why wouldn't we want more enjoyable experiences?
And we can't just jump right in that space, right? We just can't. You can't, not until you unlearn all the stuff that you've learned all these years. You can't. It's like trying to look through rose-colored glasses and you can't see through them at all because you got so much crap in the way.
Yeah. But
it's like for me, and I don't have to look through the rose-colored glasses anymore. I mean, I can see all the beauty that's around me. I love the desert. When I got grown up here, I'd have been like, oh no, I hate the desert. I want to get out of here. I love it. I love it here. I just enjoy looking at it all the time. I enjoy it. It's amazing. And that's just a matter of perspective. And that's just a matter of, that's working on your own internal stuff. That's practicing seeing things differently.
So here, go ahead.
Go ahead.
There you go.
I was just going to say, and it's just working through your stuff, working through your emotional triggers. And they come up all the time, because I used to be the stuffer too. And God forbid, if someone saw me crying, I'd bite my lip. I'd do whatever I could to stop from crying in the movie. Now it's like, I just let it go. I don't care.
Yeah, it's easier to let it go, and it's easier to let it go. It's easier to cry than it is to push it down, because you got to blink your eyes a lot, and you got to suck it in, and you got all that tension going on in your body, because you just want to let it all out, but you can't because you're trying to control it, right? It's like so much work to push it in, instead of just saying, all right, let's just cry, let's let this go.
Just be like a kid and throw your tantrums, cry, be mad, just don't direct it.
bunch of damn control freaks, what we are.
Because we learned to, because you had to be good, or you had to sit still and keep your legs crossed and your hands crossed and sit in church and be all quiet, or you had to,
Or I'll
if
give
you
you
want to,
something to cry about. Yeah, that
God,
was bullshit.
exactly. God forbid if you actually had to move around and stuff, because we aren't meant to just sit in place all the time.
Yeah,
We're meant to listen to our intuition and then do it. But when you're a
be
kid, I think,
creative.
yeah, you listen to your intuition so easily when you're a kid, most children, that you're just like off and running, to do the next thing. You've already left all the rest of the stuff in the dust. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Fun.
so much fun. We are feeling beings, and we're also creative beings. And so, with that, Bev was talking about the beauty of the desert, and it's all about how you view things. Well, beauty and creativity. So I'm going to give you another archangel to connect with for those two things, which is one archangel, um, Archangel Jophiel, Jophiel, Jophiel. Um, you can call on Archangel Jophiel, resonates color yellow, and you can ask Jophiel to help you see the beauty within yourself, first and foremost. Help me see the beauty within myself and others. So when we're talking about the goodness of other people, that other people, are being operated by that little kid inside that has the programming from 0 to 7, that see the beauty, see past that, know that they're spirit and body, see the beauty within them, the goodness within them. And also, Archangel Jophiel helps you with creativity. So if it's like creative arts, if it's creative writing, if it's whatever, the just Archangel Jophiel can help you with both of those. Seeing the beauty, so it could be seeing the beauty around you, seeing the beauty in the desert. If you can't see beauty in dirt and rocks and bushes, okay, well, Archangel Jophiel help me see this differently. And so then maybe you will, or most likely 100% you're going to get some kind of a message or sign about beauty, about the desert, or something along those lines. But it's up to you to be present to receive that message. So we do, even though we ask for help and guidance, we have to be present and focused in our moment to receive it. So had somebody who's in critical condition in a medical situation, like the accident we're talking about with Chicken Soup for the Soul, or somebody who is being med flighted to another hospital, like they're present. There's nowhere else they can be. They're not going to be in their ego going on the craziness that we do on a daily basis. They're right now in this moment and about what's happening. And so it leaves them more open to receive those messages. And so being present is so important to receive the message that you're asking for the help and guidance with. And I use the words present, being present, meaning right here, right now, meaning what's happening in my environment right now. And some people resonate to the word focus. So being focused with where you're at right now. So same definition, just ask for help and guidance, but be present or focused with where you're at to receive the messages. It could be a feather, could be a coin, could be a book, could be a conversation. So just be aware. Those prayers, I've been praying a lot. Like my prayer, it started last year. I mean, I prayed periodically, and I say that in the sense of like traditional prayer. What my thought was of traditional prayer. But then, I started opening up to just having a conversation with my universal team.
Yes.
I got this going on. I'd like some help and guidance of ease and flow with it. How can this be transitioned into through kindness and compassion, and just it could just be done, right? Yes. And just talking to your team, your universal team, meaning God, angels, ancestors, deceased loved ones, master guides, spirit guides, all all the spiritual realm, and just talk to them like your best friend.
Yes.
Just talk to them like your best friend. But then the practice is that intuitive guidance that we've been talking about, intuitive guidance, listening to those subtle messages, listening, receiving the external messages, just being fully aware of how you feel too.
Yes. And appreciate, because then at the same time, because I've been practicing this more as well. It's like when I recognize those prayers are being answered, when I recognize the intuition, when everything's falling in place, I'm like, thank you,
Thank
thank you,
you.
thank you to my universal team. Like, that was freaking awesome how you showed me that. It's like that, man, you guys really showed up. You like the lights were all green. Thank you. Like
Yep.
you said, setting up your intentions. I'll be at work always 10 minutes prior to, or my appointment prior to at least 10 minutes. And it's like, when you get there, it's like, man, I don't even know how that happened because I only left 20 minutes ago and I
Yeah.
should have taken me a lot longer, but it didn't because there is no such thing as time. Just believe. And that doesn't mean go ahead and push it and wait and leave, like, cutting yourself short to see if you can get there on time. It's just a matter of believing, and it's being so thankful and appreciative to all the ways that the prayers are answered. And for me, I don't think about it ever in a conventional way because I'm not a religious person. When I say prayer, it's the same thing. It's just as you're talking to them, you're asking for this guidance or this help. To me, those are prayers. These conversations that we have, they're not like I used to say intentions, but it's really like a prayer. It's a prayer for this to help. And we don't know how it's going to play out or what it looks like or anything. And that's fine. We don't want to have all that control. But even like you said, with ease and flow, one of my things I would say with grace and ease. So it's an awesome thing. Sorry if you hear a dog barking in the background.
Yeah. And being in gratitude, saying thank you all the time, acknowledging that your universal team's with you. Um, and celebration, like when something comes to fruition, celebrate it. Just don't be like, oh, that happened, cool, and then on to the next. Celebrate what you brought to fruition, celebrate what you manifested, celebrate your angels and guides and all that, and that they had a part in helping you get to where you are. Celebration is super important, and spirit loves to celebrate.
Yes,
Celebrate with our spirit would love to celebrate more often than we allow, like 100% of the time.
yes, yes, all the time, all the time.
Awesome. Well, my friend, I think we gave a lot of good information today, as always, is my perspective, but that's my opinion.
And I appreciate your opinion, and I agree.
We have two in agreement, and that's okay with us. We're good.
That's right. That's right.
So I say thank you for hanging out with us for tea time. This is just so you know, this is our 41, episode 41. And we
Nice.
are coming up on a year here soon. And so to me, it doesn't seem like it. It's
No, it doesn't.
it actually I don't know, like you said, been having these conversations for so long. It's just like it's natural. It's a natural conversation. This is why we don't plan our topics. Bev and I do not call each other and say, okay, what are we going to talk about? We hop on here, we have a conversation, and it goes where it goes. So anyway, we value your time, we value your presence, and we are so thankful that you choose to listen to us in our bringing forth information and our wisdom and our conviction of what we're teaching. I love that word now. It just feels so powerful. I'm like, in my conviction. Yeah, this is my word. Um, so tea time with Amie and Bev, and don't keep us a secret. You probably know people who would benefit from this information as well. And you can share it with them. It's their choice whether they listen or not. And we'd also love to hear from you,
Yes.
leaving us comments or questions so that we can have some interaction with you, and reach out to us and let us know how the information you're receiving is affecting your life. That would be awesome.
Yes.
Any last words?
Just have a wonderful week.
Great. All right, my friends. Thanks for being here. We love you and take care.
Thank you. Love you.